Hey, 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 happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair and take a load off because tonight I am going to take a first look and page through Dungeons and Dragons Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel from Wizards of the Coast. And we'll dive on in right after this. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel. So tonight I am presenting a special live Thursday stream. That's right. We are going to be taking a look at the latest Dungeons and Dragons Adventure Compendium in just a couple of moments. But first, I did want to tackle a few things. First of all, I'm not used to saying, hey, happy Thursday, because I do the live streams Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings. But I thought because this D&D book was arriving today, and I'd be normally shooting a first look video anyway, why not do it live? So that is what we're doing tonight. Also, real quickly, a lot of you already know this. Some of you watching tonight or watching this video later on down the line are going to be new to the Gaming Gang. My dad had a heart attack back on July 5th. He just had a triple bypass on Monday. Past couple of days, I mean, he got through the surgery fine, but it was the last few days, he was like really foggy. And I was worried. So I saw him today. Thankfully, he has turned a corner mentally. And I'd say he's probably at about 80, 90% of what he usually is. And I was like, thank goodness, because I was worried. Anyway, so I did want to mention that real quick, because I know there are many of you out there who are, curious what's going on with my dad. So I'm sharing that news real quickly. And of course, many of you out there have sent along kind thoughts and get well wishes and prayers to my family as well. And thank you so much for that also. Stay tuned, because I am actually going to share how you can win this copy of the Dungeons and Dragons Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel alternate art cover, which is only available through retailers. So I am going to announce how you can get into the running. So stay tuned. It'll be pretty easy. I never have super hard contests to win stuff. Also, if you're not familiar with the Gaming Gang, I do live streams. I do first looks. I do reviews and things like that. I have been doing this since 2010. And I also host a live stream Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights, which is called the Gaming Gang Dispatch. And I share the latest in tabletop gaming news and first looks and reviews on that show as well. So because this is a live stream, there is also chat available. So if you are a subscriber and you have been a subscriber for 48 hours or more, you can take part in chat. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you got a question, a comment, maybe there's something in particular you want us to take a look at in Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond, because I am mainly focused, of course, tonight on getting a first look at this book, which arrived about 2 hours ago. I was starting to sweat it. I was like, oh, what's going on? And then the box arrived, and it was far larger than what I'm used to seeing from Wizards of the Coast. And on the outside of the box, it said it was Magic the Gathering. I was like, wait a second. And then I opened it up, and sure enough, yes, it is the book and something else that I will talk about at the end of this video that we're going to be taking a peek at soon enough as well. But speaking of chat, let's see who we've got tonight. So Christopher Rush was first out the gate. In fact, he was in chat before I even started the stream. Mr. Eddie T is here. The Madman is with us as well. Bane 122. Let's see who else we've got. Sarah D is here. Flaming Huron is here as well. So all four of my chat moderators are with us. Dan Kellogg has joined us as well. So we've got chat off and running. So without further ado, tonight I am going to be taking a first look at Dungeons & Dragons Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel from Wizards of the Coast. I am going to tell you who's written these adventures, and I will be butchering names, so I apologize right up front. I tend to treat English like it's a second language anyway. But these adventures are written by Ajit A. George, Alistair Guzman, Bashir Goose, or Gauss, I believe it might be, D. Fox Harrell, Dominique Dickey, Aaron Roberts, Felice Zuhei Juan, Justice Ramin Arman, Mario Ortegon, Mimi Mondale, Miyuki Jane Pinkard, Pam Punzelin, Stephanie Yoon, Serena Marie, T.K. Johnson, and Terry H. Romero. So, yeah, I'm sure half of those I completely butchered. So, do want to point out, this is going to be arriving in stores on July 19th, and it is going to carry an MSRP of $49.95. Off the top of my head, I think, if I remember correctly, I think it's 228 pages, but we will find out in just a moment. So let's swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel. So before we jump on in, do want to mention the fine folks over at Wizards of the Coast were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any sort of compensation outside of this review copy for me to share this coverage with you. And these days, it's actually very important for you to know that. I am also going to say picture in picture up here. So as we take a peek through, I'm going to be cutting off the upper left portion of the book. Also, we're not going to look at each and every page, but I do want to give you a good feel for what's in this release. So we're going to kind of take a look at each of the title pages for each of the adventures as well. Kathy Evans is with us in chat. Howdy, Kathy. Thanks for hanging out with us again. So let's crack this on open. And we have loads of illustrators as well. I have a prime lens on the camera tonight, so I can't lift the book up because it'll become out of focus, because the focus is set at this point right here. But yes, there are quite a lot. We thought there were a lot of writers for the book. There are, it looks like, about twice as many illustrators as well. So we've got our table of contents. So we have a new location that is being introduced in this new supplement. And of course, it is the titular Radiant Citadel. So we've got some info about that. Looks like we've got a map here as well. Pretty cool, like that. So we're going to get a breakdown of what is the Radiant Citadel to get started off. Talking about some various different aspects of the Radiant Citadel. Looks like we've got some personalities here as well. So it appears we've got, well, I'd say probably about 12, 14 pages devoted to the Citadel itself. So we've got our first adventure, Salted Legacy. A series of disturbances plagues the Dinsin night market, an endlessly changing maze of stalls filled with incredible wares, enticing smells, and magical lights. Accusations fly as the characters become entangled in a feud between the well-respected Yenmo and Zagoon merchant families of the Sebishunko Valley. Yeah, of course, you knew that was... I was going to butcher all these names in here. Thankfully, they're not real places. To prevent the family's conflict from escalating, the characters must earn the trust of the market's vendors and gain their help to unmask who's behind a rash of vandalism and thefts. Should point out that there are going to be some minor spoilers here, but I am not going to be digging too deeply into each of the adventures. But keep in mind, if you are a player and you're hoping that your dungeon master is going to run any of the adventures from Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel, you might want to sit this video out. I mean, heck, there's what, over 1,500 videos on the channel? So something else you can watch. So hopefully no one's going to be upset about any spoilers here. So let's see, what level is this? Okay, so this is for first level adventurers. So next up, we've got... See, I cheated and I looked at the table of contents. That's all I have seen of this book is the table of contents. So this is as much of a first look for all of you out there as it is for me as well. Christopher says, nifty looking bat thing on the cover, getting a Fantastic Beasts feel. Yes, this sort of Mothra-ish creature there. I don't know, for some reason I saw it, I'm thinking, yeah, it's Mothra stealing stuff. Hey, maybe that's a spoiler from the first adventure. Now we know who's stealing things from the market. So next up, we have Written in Blood. This is an adventure for third level characters. Every year, the Awakening Festival draws folk from across the rich expanse known as God's Breath, uniting celebrants as they tell their history in song and set the course for the upcoming year. But the mood turns grim when a group of farmers suddenly turns violent, manipulated by an unknown magical malady. In the aftermath, well-known trader Aunt Deli, I'm taking a guess that's how it's pronounced, fears for her goddaughter, Kiana, a worker at the farm the attackers came from, deep within the outlying farmlands known as the Rattle. When the characters investigate, they are pitted against the lurking evil that uses a young woman's grief and loneliness to lure new victims. Flaming Herons mentioning we might be expecting Godzilla later because of the Mothra creature on the cover there. So as the Madman's pointing out, the Radiant Citadel is a new locale on the ethereal plane. So all of these adventures have a bit of a tie-in to the Radiant Citadel. I would take a stab in the dark. You can probably drop these adventures in any campaign that you're running pretty much in just about any location and probably not even utilize the Radiant Citadel. I do believe that you can kind of string these together as a campaign also. So I don't know how much of like an underlying thread runs through all 13 of these adventures as the Madman is typing out some of the lyrics from Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla. Go, go, Godzilla! Hey! I haven't heard that song in years. All right, what do we got next here? We've got The Fiends of Hollow Mine. That's some cool artwork there. I'm digging that. I like that quite a bit. This is an adventure for fourth level characters. A deadly magical curse called Searing is killing people in the arid borderlands around the city of San Citlan. After an encounter with an outlaw in the village of Milpuzzle, the characters learn the source of the curse is a... Oh, spoilers! Spoilers! Alrighty, I'm going to skip the rest of that. So, well, we'll take a couple of peeks at a couple of the pages here. So far, solid artwork, I must say. One of the interesting aspects of Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel is all of these baker's dozen of adventures have been written by persons of color. So that is one aspect. It's the first time ever that there has been a Dungeons and Dragons book of any edition that could make this claim. Flaming Heron says, well, he's not going to be playing this adventure anymore. Yes, I have spoiled it for everyone. I jumped out of the background on it quick. I haven't given that much away. I did say, I did have a little disclaimer talking about how there could be minor spoilers. All right, moving right along, our next adventure is Wages of Vice. Yeah, well, I'll probably get along well with this adventure. It's an adventure for 5th level characters. When they stumble upon a murder, the characters are caught up in the plots of a vengeful killer targeting the heirs of Zinda's rulers. During the boisterous citywide festival known as March of Vice, the characters must find the killer and reveal the fiendish power that serves her. Well, we've got a gender reveal for the killer. Christopher says, so Wizards put all of the adventures written by people of color on a floating disc in the ethereal plane? Oof. I don't think they all take place. I think they take place on game worlds. I don't think they're on the ethereal plane. I don't know. I honestly do not know. This is all brand new to me, as it is to you as well. So we're kind of discovering what's in this book together. Of course, I will have a review of Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel in the very, very near future. In fact, I have to go downtown Chicago tomorrow. I have to take the train. Train's at least an hour, sometimes hour and a half. So I am bringing this with to dive on in. And I do expect to have the review up on the 19th. So it will be out on release day. And I will actually reveal the winner of the contest, although I will actually possibly be on my way to San Diego Comic-Con on the 19th. So next up, we've got Sins of Our Elders, which is for 6th level characters. A beloved folk hero of the city of Unido was wronged by the royal family and died in shame. Shame! Unable to rest peacefully, she returned as a spirit called a Guishin and became convinced that the city she had dedicated her life to had forgotten her. Now the powerful spirit spreads a mysterious fog across the land that drains the memories of Unido's people so they aren't even aware of their own ruin. So this looks like this is an Asian-themed adventure. It looks like we have had a Latino-themed adventure, possibly an African-themed adventure from some of the artwork that we have seen. Looks like we've had a pretty good mix so far. I do realize that these adventures do kind of run a gamut from kind of light and whimsical to a bit darker and grimmer. So that's nice as well. So there should be an adventure in this book for just about anyone. So we have Gold for Fools and Princes. Or they could have just said gold for Jeff and Princess. This is an adventure for 7th level characters. A tunnel collapse traps miners deep within the gold Goldwyrn, the great mine complex of the city-state of Anissa. But even more concerning, a survivor of the disaster reports being attacked by a creature thought to be long extinct. The characters must aid in rescuing the miners, but to do so, they'll have to work alongside the rivals Prince Simban and Prince Karina, both of whom see the disaster as a way to influence their chances of claiming the imperial throne. Oh, well, that's how politics works all the time. So there we have that. Now, this looks like this might be a bit of a Middle Eastern sort of theme to this adventure here. We do have new monsters as well. I think the stat blocks are actually mixed in the adventure text itself, as opposed to there being a bestiary at the end of the book. We'll find out. But I thought I had stumbled across something mentioning that. Next up, we've got Trail of Destruction, an adventure for 8th level characters. Disaster might strike at any moment, a truth the characters learn soon after arriving in the volcanic region of Teotepec, the town of Edizalan. I don't know. I don't know. Reels from monstrous attacks and unexplained earthquakes, leading the community's leaders to send for aid. When these requests go unanswered, the townfolk enlist the characters to seek answers. The party must cross a region in the throes of volcanic upheaval and locate a shrine known as the Gate of Illumination. There, the characters must placate a fiery creature awakened from its age-long slumber or face region-wide devastation. Dun, dun, dun. This could be sort of a South American themed adventure, maybe possibly Native American themed. Kabuki Kid has joined us in chat. Double K is in the house, as I like to say. I should also mention I did a little EQing on the audio. So I'm never satisfied with the way the show sounds. So hopefully you do actually notice a little bit of a change. Hopefully it's got a little more of kind of a radio kind of sound to it without being too much of a radio sound. Because, I'm not like Biff Heyman here on KSVD radio. So next we have In the Midst of Manivarsha. It is an adventure for 9th level characters. The final day of the Shanka trials unfolds in the city of Sagapur, but the joy of this most auspicious competition turns to terror as the city's great river swells in a destructive wave, sweeping away both the trials champion and the sacred trophy. Well, so much for that contest. The characters join the effort to rescue those lost and seek out an ancient corruption that has returned. Christopher Rush says KTGG radio. Or in my case, because I am east of the Mississippi, it would be WTGG radio. All right. I'm going to take a stab that this might be kind of an East Indian sort of theme in this adventure as well. Man says they're having the same pronunciation issues with Tomb of Annihilation. Yeah. Way I kind of look at it, and of course, those of you who follow the gaming gang, I cover all the 5th edition D&D releases. But unlike many channels who only focus on Dungeons and Dragons and would provide you with 30 videos regarding this book, I actually look at a ton of other role-playing games. So I don't have the amount of time to invest in all the fluff and backstory of everything going on in 5th edition. So it is not unusual for me to mispronounce names of famous NPCs and things like that. So it is what it is, as people like to say. Testy Trekkie has joined us in chat. Howdy, howdy. Welcome to the party. What else we got here? Moving right along. Between Tangled Roots. This looks like this might be another Asian themed or Latino themed. I don't know. This is an adventure for 10th level characters. When a legendary dragon known as a Bakunwana appears and attacks a town that has long revered its kind, the characters are called upon to learn why it has gone on a rampage. They must track down the Bakunawa, I guess I should say. Bakunawa. I'm sure I still mispronounced it. And discover the reason for its ire before dragon hunters slay the sacred creature. Nah. This looks like this is one of the longer adventures here. So far, it looks as if these adventures are clocking in between 12 and maybe 20 pages or so. For the most part, it looks like many of them are right about 14 pages. So there's decent amount of depth to the adventures, I would assume. So we have Shadow of the Sun, an adventure for 11th level characters. On the eve of a triennial lunar festival, a monster attack brings the characters to the attention of the Bright Guard, holy enforcers in the city-state of Akaran Sangar. The characters are asked to act as an angel's agents and discover rebel plots before innocent blood is spilled. But soon the characters learn that in Akaran Sangar, nothing is as plain as night or day. Testy Trekkie says that they love adventures where it's not just slay the dragon. One of the things that we used to kind of joke around a little bit way back in the day, we're talking, advanced D&D days, is for a game, Dungeons and Dragons, you didn't run across a whole lot of dragons. So, which to us was fine. We had absolutely no issue with that. But it is kind of funny for a game that was titled Dungeons and Dragons that you had plenty of dungeons, especially early on, but not necessarily so many dragons. So this looks like this might be the longest of the adventures here. Next, we have The Night Seas Succor, or Succor, as some people say. An adventure for, this looks like 12th level characters. After experiencing a mysterious haunting, the characters become embroiled in a quest to restore lost lore to the realm of Genet. As they journey from the misty coast of Genet to the phantasmagoric realm of Jana, or should say Janya, beneath the sea, the characters discover not all folk are of one mind concerning the mysterious Genean teachings called the Black Mist Way and the Black Throne Arts. Some believe these mystical practices and defensive martial strategies should be restored to reestablish the power of Genai and led in the path. Others believe they should only be used as the basis for new arts and then retired. Still others want the lost lore destroyed, so no Genai and Janya can break from the past that binds them. Ultimately, the characters must decide which path to follow and face a forgotten terror in the deepest reaches of the Night Sea. It's a hint. So I've actually heard of those before. Russell Higgins has popped on in to chat. Good to see you, Russell. Thanks for swinging on in and hanging out with us on a special live Thursday night stream. So these are undead. So a hint. Ain't funny, Dooley. Yeah, I know. I throw Dooley around a lot. I wonder sometimes if people actually know the reference I'm making when I say, like, tain't happening, Dooley. It's actually, tain't funny, Dooley. So it says, rising from the sorrowful dead, haints are spirits that change their shape in tragic imitation of what they once were. A haint can shift from its spectral form to appear as the corporeal humanoid it was in life, passing as a living creature. These spirits might mistakenly view innocents as those who killed them or entreat mortals to exact revenge on their behalf. Sarah says her grandmother had a book with the title something like Haints and Boogers. And grandma was raised in rural Tennessee. Buried Dynasty. This is an adventure for, thought it said 13th. Couldn't make that out real well. So it's for 13th level characters. For thousands of years, ancient magic and potions of longevity sustained imperial rule over the land of Great Jing. Each emperor's supernaturally long lifespan ensured the peace and stability of the realm. But now, the imperial secrets of longevity have been lost. And if the long rule of the White Jade Emperor draws to a close, control of the empire will pass to another in a disruptive transition, the likes of which have been unknown for generations. So here it appears we have more, it appears to be more of a kind of a Chinese theme and obviously Asian themed, but that looks like Chinese architecture. I got to be honest, I am not necessarily an expert between Japanese, Korean, and Chinese architecture, but for some reason that looks Chinese to me. Shane Sangster is with us in chat. Welcome aboard. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. So we have two more. No, I think we have one more adventure. We have Orchids of the Invisible Mountain. This is for 14th level characters. The land of Atagua exists at a weak point between several planes of existence. Feywild influences work upon the land, but in recent years, corruption from the far realm has begun leaking into the savannah. The characters must journey to the Feywild and beyond to quell the alien forces spreading across the increasingly surreal plains. There we go. Once again, some pretty cool artwork. Definitely digging the artwork. And from what we've seen, of course, obviously enough, we're only taking a look at the first 2 pages mainly of each adventure. The art style seems fairly uniform as well. It doesn't seem to be a hodgepodge mix as we sometimes will see. That said, I will know more, of course, when I read through it and see all the different artwork that's going to be part of this as well. So then what do we got left? Beyond the Radiant Citadel. So it looks like we've got a little bit of some GM facing information about other areas beyond the Citadel itself. So what it appears to be, so we have the Taib Empire and Umezu. All right. So I thought it was 228 pages. It is 224 pages. All right. So that is Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel for Dungeons and Dragons from Wizards of the Coast. So let's swing on over to the other camera. I'm going to grab a quick sip here. Christopher Rush says, okay, so the Citadel is simply a hub to travel out to these different realms then. Okay. So D&D Stargate. Kabuki Kid points out that they love modern D&D art, but still have a soft spot for the classic black and white line art. So do I. I certainly do. I will mention that there are some recent releases that are kind of retro clones that I have not been a big fan of some of the line art that they've utilized, which kind of shocking. I was kind of surprised by that as well. All right, so how would you like to win this copy of the alternate art cover of Dungeons and Dragons Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel? I'm gonna make it super easy. It's gonna be the same kind of contest I almost always run. So you need to enter by July 18th. So your cutoff is going to be midnight on July 18th. So you got to do 3 things, but they're easy. First of all, be a subscriber to the Gaming Gang channel. Easy peasy. Give this video a thumbs up. Think of what? Less than a second to do that. And leave a comment on this video. And it has to be a comment of some substance. Please don't leave a comment, I want to win the book. That takes you out of the running. So have something to, I'm not asking you to write paragraphs of comments. But, what did you like about the book? What do you think interests you most? There you go. Comment, let me know what interests you most, outside of winning the book, about Dungeons and Dragons Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel. And I will randomly choose a winner. Once again, got to be a subscriber. You also need to like the video as well. So I will choose them, and then I will reveal that winner on July 19th when I share my review. So check out my review, and I will tell you who has won. So before we wrap up, I do want to mention something that I'm hoping I don't see a lot of with this. And if you are new to the channel, if you're not familiar with myself, I tell it like it is, right? So there are people out there who are going to be, it doesn't matter what Wizards of the Coast releases for Dungeons and Dragons, it's all fantastic, or it's all garbage. There is that. So something I'm a little concerned about with this book, as I had mentioned, all 13 of the adventures are written by people of color. So I am hoping that some folks out there aren't going to just poo-poo the book immediately because of that fact. And of course, remember, I live in the real world. I know how people are. And there are gamers like that. On the flip side, I also hope that reviewers out there don't just automatically give this book a free pass and review it seriously. And there are a few different reasons for that. And of course, I know there will be some reviewers out there who say, "Oh, this is the greatest Dungeons and Dragons book ever written," because it's view it seriously and tell you, "Hey, is it good? Here are the cool adventures. This is worth picking up," or, "Yeah, it's probably going to be aimed more for these kind of players." then we will probably see more books like this. So I am keeping my fingers crossed. You know for a fact that my review will tell you straight up what I think of this. If I think Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel is a good pickup, what I like about it, what I may not like about it, and so on and so forth. And to me, because it's written by people of color, will not actually enter into that equation. I know some people might say, whoa, really? I'm going to take it based on its merits. So, and I'm excited. I'm excited to check this book out. I'm always excited for 5e D&D books. Although there have been a few that have let me down. So anyway, I think we should be in pretty good shape with this. All right, let's see. Anything left in chat here that we have to take a peek at? Kabuki Kid says, the first edition of AD&D's Dungeon Master's Guide is the best D&D book ever. Christopher says that this looks like a fun book. I agree from what we saw. I like the artwork looked really nice. I was like, hey, I'm digging this artwork. And it seems, because kind of gave you a little background on each of the adventures, seems like there's a nice kind of eclectic mix to the adventures in here too. They're not all the same kind of note. So I like that as well. All right. So that is it for this time out. I hope you enjoyed hanging out for a very rare Thursday live stream. In fact, it's been a few years since I did a stream on a Thursday night. And hopefully you had some fun. Of course, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe and you can't win the contest if you don't subscribe, ding the bell. It'll not only let you know when I stream live, usually Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings, right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central with the Gaming Gang Dispatch. But you'll also learn when I upload other videos as well. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find here on the channel. So if you tuned in, watched live, thank you very much. If you took part in chat, big tip of the cap to everybody. But of course, I know a lot of people out there, they don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Really appreciate each and every one of you taking some time out of your busy lives to watch any of the videos on this YouTube channel. And of course, until I see you next time, which will be Monday with live stream, as I will be sharing my review of the index card role-playing game from Modiphius Entertainment and Runehammer Games. Anyway, till next time I see you, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.